Boys, it's honestly at this point looking like Ubisoft is legitimately doing everything they can to make us, the players, the consumers, the people who pay their bills, hate every single thing that Ubisoft does. Now, granted, this is not exactly anything new. This is just a video intro. We all know this is true, honestly, that Ubisoft does everything to make people hate it. But in case you did not hate Ubisoft enough, and at this point, it's hard to say actually how much enough is enough because I mean the hate should be honestly infinite. I'm not gonna lie. Ubisoft is garbage. They ruin everything. They are woke. They are stupid. They are uneducated. They are not a gaming company at this point. They're just a bunch of stupid activists. They lie. They deceit. They ruin everything they touch. Assassin's Creed has long not been Assassin's Creed. And everything else Ubisoft has owned is shit. Looking at you, Watch Dogs. That stupid extraction shooter game that no one liked. And Tom Clancy's Rainbow Six, here's 3 trans operators. There you go. Bam. What a time to be alive. In any case, if you do not know, Ubisoft just said again the stupidest thing ever. Listen, I am fully convinced at this point that the Guillemot family, which runs Ubisoft, if you did not know, by the way, even though it's a publicly traded company, the Guillemots are in charge of it and they are fully responsible for literally every decision made to it. That these people are just not even real, okay? They're living in a completely alternative universe. Ubisoft argues putting microtransactions into single-player games. That's right. We're not even talking about multiplayer games. Just single-player games just to keep things spicy. Makes them more fun. That's right. Even Blizzard is not trying to argue the fact that their 100% dollar amounts are fucking stupid. Even Bethesda is not trying to argue the fact that their expansions reskin asset flips of microtransactions are a good thing. But here you have Ubisoft, a failing, dying company, literally unironically with full confidence coming out and saying, oh yes, microtransactions are actually good. Don't you know? They should have added that, people who think otherwise are just not media literate. Then it would be the full goddamn package, honestly. And then they're surprised that and then they're getting surprised about things like this. Ubisoft CEO blames organized campaigns of criticism against its games. Yes, they do the stupidest things ever. For example, Assassin's Creed, but Japan. But wait a minute. How about George Floyd as the main protagonist? That sounds fun, right? That sounds fun. We're gonna include iconic lines like, I can't breathe! And it's gonna all be good in the hood. Oh, yes. By the way, if you don't know, I'm not even joking. Yusuke is modeled after George Floyd. Yes, I never talk about this, even though I have known this from almost the start. But yes, he is modeled after him. So I'm not joking when I'm saying any of these things, okay? Also, I'm a black trans woman, so none of you can say anything against me. But yes, organized campaign of criticism. Because obviously, if it's not an organized campaign of criticism, no one could ever think that Ubisoft is bad, right? Yes, this. By the way, this is not Yves Guillemot trying to gaslight people. No, he probably legitimately thinks that everything Ubisoft is doing is good and the world is wrong for not accepting their slop. Okay, Yves Guillemot firmly probably believes that people should be born with the slop pipe already embedded in their throats. Absolutely crazy. Okay. And obviously, this is not the only article that makes fun of the fact that Ubisoft claims microtransactions help players experience more fun. Help players! I really need to get a haircut, Jesus. I need to see my sexy hairdresser. She's probably wearing a cute mini skirt right now. Anyway, why do I not go to her? She's hot and she flirts with me. Whatever. Whatever. But yes, I mean, it's just. You think this is a comedy. You think this is a skit. But no, these people are fully serious. Microtransactions help experience more fun. I also have two brain cells that fight for fourth place and are rubbing against each other at the speed of light to make up for the deficit. Experience more fun. There is no way to be more stupider than that now, is there? There are where do we start here? Yes. There are so many opportunities for leisure in this summertime. Yes, a summer game. You can read at the beach, slurp up some Italian ice. The hell is Italian ice even? Oh, but you have to admit, completing microtransactions is much more versatile. I don't know if this is just being another dead gaming news website being, well, another dead news gaming website, or is this actually Eels Gilbo actually and ironically honestly saying this? Now, I know I'm not seeing any quote brackets here, but then again, it's not like the writers nowadays are good at writing, so honestly, who knows? Maybe my dyslexic ass could do it better. It's an all season entertainment, right? Paying more money for a game you thought you already paid for? Yes, Rainbow Six Assassin's Creed developer Ubisoft seemed to think so. So it's not a quote, direct quote, it's just a retranslation, which probably is extremely accurate. Remember when EA called microtransactions, no, loot boxes, surprise game mechanics? I do, and it was hilarious. This is why I wish only the worst to these companies, okay? This is why whenever someone tells me, there's been a 9,000 people firing in the games industry, I'm like, more! More! Yes. I am like that. Telling investors its most recent annual financial report that that monetization within premium games makes the players experience more fun. Yes, by the way, if you know me, then you know that I'm long for 2 years is effectively saying that Ubisoft is bankrupt. Assassin's Creed Shadows is easily a minimum 500 million to 700 million before marketing disaster. Ubisoft was already running pretty empty with their money reserves, and now, I mean, effectively, Ubisoft has completely gone bankrupt. This is 100. But okay, listen. If you're someone who doesn't actually do finance, shut the fuck up and let me finish, okay? Before you write in that autistic 3 fucking IQ comment, then why aren't they actually shutting down? Because these companies don't shut down. Their name holds value. There's always going to be someone who puts in a little bit money so they keep being on float and they can continue to pull out fucking slop because their name still has value. And the fact that the Yves Guillemot deal with Tencent happened where they tried to split up Ubisoft into Ubisoft Prime and Ubisoft Secundus. Secundus, get it? It means that everything is bad. That they cannot deal with the debt. Okay? Ubisoft's Prime, where Tencent implemented like something like 12 billion. By the way, just a coincidence, but I remember how many times I said that my estimate is that Ubisoft currently is in the red for at least 10 million, potentially. Yeah, 10. No, what am I saying? 10 million. 12, 10 to maybe even 15 billion. Billion, not that, but billion. Billion with a B. Okay? Completely right on the money. So you see, my random predictions that some of you so much dislike because you're emotional or something like that. How am I always right? How am I always proven right given enough time? Okay? Assassin's Creed Shadows, probably 500 minimum million to 700 million development costs without marketing, which was the highest marketing they have ever done to a game. And before that was their new Crown King Prince achievement of Star Wars Outlaws. Something that most likely at the minimum cost at least 600 million to make, and probably was double that in marketing costs. Yes. And it sold 0 copies. And it made an expansion that sold 0 copies. That's a lot of 0 copies being sold, okay? I have been right about everything I claim about these situations. When a game dies, how much it made, how much the sellers did it have. And currently, my estimate for Ubisoft is that they are fudging the numbers, and that actual sales numbers for Assassin's Creed Shadow is not even 1.5 million. Maybe it's 2 million, best case scenario. But as I said at the start of this, when people were lying about, 100 billion interactions and all of that garbage, I said that this is lies. Because if Assassin's Creed Shadows is not a failure, and if it's doing better than Valhalla and the other one, then it's on its way to sell roughly 100 million copies in the first 2 years. And, well, if it was going to sell that many copies, then we would not be getting tweets from Ubisoft saying, Assassin's Creed Shadows has 3 million interactions. No, they would not say interactions, they would say sales. First of all. Second of all, it would not be cut off at 3 million. And they would not even go to Steam. And they're, by the way, claiming that Steam is only 20% of their sales, that 80% of their sales exist on Play fucking Station? Are you kidding me? And that actually Steam sales are equivalent to Xbox sales, and we checked Xbox when Assassin's Creed Shadows released, and it was not even in the top fucking 40 most played games on Xbox in the first day of release. On the second day, it wasn't even in the top 100 any longer. Okay? Listen, you may hate me, but you can never claim I'm wrong. My predictions are the best goddamn shit you're gonna see out there in the industry. I am a literal fucking god. Telling investors the most recent... Oh, we already did that. And here's the quote. This is always optional. Ubisoft stressed. The players like to pay to personalize their avatars and progress more quickly. Yes, because you make progress slow and you make character customization fucking ugly if you don't spend money. This is how it works. Again, Ubisoft deserves literally everything that they are plowing, okay? They sow the seeds. No, they sow the seeds. That's how you say it. They sow the seeds. And now they're reaping what they sow, and it's not looking good. It's looking like a disaster. And by the way, the newest prediction, what's going to happen to Ubisoft, which I can literally not be wrong on, is the fact that the Tencent Ubisoft deal goes fucking bust, and it completely fails in at least its initial intentions. Because Europe is never gonna allow China to have a fucking stake in Europe, okay? America sells American farmland to China. Europe kinda doesn't. Each country, each region has its own problems, but China going into Europe and buying shit, no, that's not the Euro Commission is what gonna... the Euro Commission is never gonna allow that. It's not happening. There is literally nothing China can do to allow this to happen. Europe is gonna just blatantly go to court, which they are doing, and they're gonna say, no, you cannot do this deal, because their deal, by the way, in general, is literally, yeah, the only winners of this deal are gonna be the Guillemot family, aka the CEOs of Ubisoft currently, and Tencent. That's it. Everyone else is just massively losing. So obviously that's not going to be allowed. And the shareholders that actually have stock in Ubisoft are also fighting against this because, again, the Guillemot Tencent deal is literally just damaging to the investors, and that's it. It kind of just wants to let the investors just fucking lose, and that's it. In any case, I can't wait for Ubisoft to collapse. I mean, Ubisoft just keeps on getting shreked. Something must happen, okay? We're gonna see more than this. We should see more than this in like a year or two. There should still be like super massive more firings or some kind of investment from some out of outside sources that takes over it. Something needs to happen. What? That's on the question mark, but something needs to happen. Anyway, thanks for watching. Bye bye.